In an intriguing new chapter on General Hospital, doubts about Spencer Cassadine's inheritance and the surprising prospective heir, Tiny Ace Cassadine, arise in the wake of Victor Cassadine's last will and testament. Possible effects on Spencer and Valentine Cassadine's finances and the family's intricate web of relationships are also discussed. Greetings, viewers of General Hospital. Soap Dirt is on YouTube, talking about the forthcoming will of Victor Cassadine, and dropping some teasers concerning Spencer Cassadine's want to start a battle. Also, I'm curious if this reading will shock everyone by leaving everything to a person who seems quite improbable. Could Tiny Ace Cassadine end up with Victor's fortune? Let's spend a minute discussing this and getting to the bottom of it. This week on General Hospital, invites to the will reading have begun going out, so I'm curious about it. And Esme Prince has not been spotted with one either. It's still possible that she will. Perhaps she is not included in the will and so not invited to the reading. Keep in mind that Victor dispatched his goons to knock her out and abduct Ace Cassadine because he despised the Cassadine siblings and was prepared to write off Nicholas and Spencer, and he was going to raise little Ace in his own rough and tumble Cassadine fashion. Many of the other Cassadines have received invites this week. They don't usually refer to themselves as Cassadines on General Hospital, so there are probably more of them than you realize. Like Sam McCall and Alexis Davis, for example. Alexis was invited because she and the host are both Cassadines. Although I can't recall for sure, I believe that Ava Jerome and Nicholas have divorced, and that is why she currently owns Windermere. Nicholas, her spouse, is presumed dead, of course, but whatever controls Mason and Austin has him in a coma and is holding him. So on General Hospital, we'll have to wait and see if Nicholas is in the custody of Gatlin Holt or someone else. But he seems to have disappeared for the time being. There will be no inheritance for him. Consequently, invites have been dispatched. For Anna Devane, that is. Of course, Spencer is welcome to join us. There is little question that Trina will accompany him. Now more than ever, I must know if Esme Prince will be invited. Perhaps the courier who has been making the rounds to deliver these packages hasn't made it to her yet. The other General Hospital spoilers for next week are what make me doubt about that. Therefore, we have a reading of Victor Cassadine's will, and he must have known there was a chance he wouldn't survive what had transpired, and it looks like he messed up the plans. When did he actually write this will, though? The event's timing is crucial, as baby Ace might not be included if he or she wasn't born yet. General Hospital spoilers for next week's episode suggest that Spencer Cassadine is itching for a fight on next Tuesday's episode, May 23. Spencer has been really upset about his trust fund and other things, so I wonder whether he will lose it at the will reading. Keep in mind that Nicholas Cassadine had handed over management of it to Ava Jerome as a form of punishment for Spencer and Esme's stalking and harassment of Ava. The only way to find out if it is the real reason for the fight is to watch it. On General Hospital, Spencer might soon find himself completely unlucky. After the disappearance of his father and the subsequent death of Victor, the fate of the family riches is unclear. This is an extremely weighty issue, and the answer is always the eldest Cassadine. Also, Valentine Cassadine is still very much with us. Since Victor Cassadine initially believed Valentine Cassadine to be dead, the subject of when this would be published has arisen once more. It would appear that Valentine may have been left out of Victor's will unless he made a new one while on board the Haunted Star after learning of his survival. In other words, General Hospital is a show where time is everything. I don't know if y'all remember, but the last will reading of a Cassadine was Helena Cassadine a few years ago, and she left this terrible artwork of her to, was it Nicholas? At someone. There was a lot of stuff there. They made a great deal out of her will and gave specific people what they wanted. But in the end, most of it was meaningless. It's almost as if they were working on a plot, but then decided, nah, and abandoned it. If I understood Helena Cassadine's will correctly, and do correct me if I'm wrong, do so in the comments. She left Alexis Davis and Sam each a penny, and basically said they were worthless because they weren't actual Cassadines. Helena, Alexis's mother's killer, stabbed her to death on General Hospital. Mikos had fallen for her like she was an opera singer, but Helena wasn't having it. And Alex's mother was one of the victims. It probably occurred directly in front of her eyes. That's what I recall learning about back then. In any case, General Hospital drama is guaranteed at any Cassadine will reading. Helena came through, so now it looks like the onus is on Victor to outdo her. Both Helena and Victor are the biological parents of Valentine. That, however, had not yet been created or revised. Therefore, no one thought to ask about Helena's secret when they heard her will read. So, the key question is whether Spencer Cassadine's revelations regarding the will were motivated by his anger at the prospect of his younger brother inheriting their family's wealth. Spencer is currently dead set on never leaving his brother's side. In a recent episode of General Hospital, he assured Esby Prince that he would support her no matter where she decided to settle down, what she decided to do, or how she got there. Because he will never, ever give up his little brother. This means that he will follow her wherever she goes. Rather of actively wanting to replace his brother, he simply wants to be a part of his brother's life. You buy a house, he urged her, and he'd buy the one next door. That's fine and dandy, because Spencer is accustomed to a life of ample means and independence, not to mention limitless fortune. When he lived on a private island in General Hospital, he often made fun of the other kids in Port Charles for being townies. But what if little Ace Cassadine comes out on top after this will reading? Maybe Alexis and Sam will even get a quarter each. It would be amusing if that happened. Alexis and Valentin have a sweet sibling relationship, and Valentin has shown interest in them and is extremely friendly to them. But now they know that they are not related at all. He had always assumed that Mikos was his father. They share a common ancestor in that they are both Cassadines, but this does not make them biological siblings. He likes her, but they aren't really considered Cassadines by the rest of the family. Sam and Alexis have never been more than a passing fancy for Victor because they aren't real Cassadines to him. Ultimately, the question becomes why he has invited so many people to General Hospital. Given that he shot Anna Devane, thought she was dead, and then she showed up on the ship, the fact that she received an invitation suggests that he has just revised his will. When the will is finally made public, I think everyone is going to wonder, when the hell did he write this? Did he compose this piece before he shot her, and before he realized that they had reconciled? The complicated timings of all this Victor business are the main problem. But there will be plenty of excitement on General Hospital next week. Allow me to provide a few additional thoughts on the subject. What do you make of that, other than the fact that if Ace Cassadine had a lot of money, then Esme may have been descended from her son? It's possible. After all, Victor probably wanted to kill most of these folks anyhow. Because of this, he may have reasoned that it didn't matter if his scheme was successful, because he would still be alive. Thus, Victor Cassadine's schemes and planning on General Hospital remain suspect.